Welcome to the Women of Advent podcast. My name is Sarah.
I'm Mandy.
And I'm Tammy.
And today on day 3 of week 1, we are looking at embracing uncertainty in faith. And particularly, we're sitting with the question of what are some ways that we can embody surrender in our own spiritual lives without losing our agency.
What a good text to start with. The Magnificat is sometimes what this is known as, this particular passage in Luke. And I do not like the word surrender. I actually went all dictionary deep diving and looked up the synonyms of, succumb, relent, cave in, give oneself up. And I was like, I do not like the word surrender.
Yeah.
Do either of you like the word surrender?
Not at all.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Yeah. It's not as though there are any lingering control issues with this group at all. Just to be clear. Yeah, for me, I don't even think that surrender necessarily captures the spirit of what Mary was doing with her radical yes.
Well, I did find other synonyms that were better.
Oh, good.
So
Leave it to Tammy.
Defer and yield and even submit if it can be used in that way. Because there's the agency piece in there and Mary owns it and lives into it in a way that I would love to. So go, Mary.
I know. She feels like she's radicalized by this yes to me, but I think that might be me living into this version of Mary that I appreciate and know. There's an artist that I love, Ben Wildflower, and he has a painting. I have a picture here of Mary from the Magnificat, and to me this captures that sort of spirit of that rebel teenage girl with her fist raised, her hand on her hip, and going toward bringing down justice, tearing down oppression, and she gets to be a vehicle for that, which is a lot different than submission, maybe a kind of submission, a yielding, and then an empowerment.
Yeah. Well, and I think for me, when I hear surrender, I think of the kind of war surrender, and it's a sign of weakness, and there's power in this surrender.
Yeah, I was going to say that was exactly where I was going to, is I think when we look at this story, the word, I know we were all raised in church areas, so looking at Mary, we kind of get told oh, she's so just meek, and oh, she just said yes, but Mary's choice was really brave and was really, like you said, radical. It's a big deal. It wasn't this, she just accepted it and was yeah, whatever, man, that sounds great. She had questions. She asked for clarification. How's this gonna work? It wasn't just an unquestioning submission. It was okay, yeah, I can do that. Thank you for answering my questions. There was power in her yes. It wasn't just
I'm with you in this rather than this is being done to me.
Totally, yeah.
So we're reclaiming surrender today.
Yes.
We're reclaiming surrender. And there's this giftedness in Luke's gospel and Luke's storytelling around this, where we get to see that back and forth. We get to hear a conversation and listen into that in a way that we don't always get stories coming through. And so when we choose to accept that passive version, we're missing portions of scripture that tell us that there was an exchange, there was a connection that came through in this conversation.
A dialogue, a co-creating.
Yes.
Love that.
Absolutely.
So the rhythm for today is to identify an area of your life where you're just holding on to control. Pray into that, invite God into the situation, and trust that God is leading you in the situation. And if you're feeling comfortable, I invite you to add to the comments where you're feeling led to release some control.